Hello my friends, welcome back to Call of Warhammer, Beginning of the End Times. I am Indy Pride, and we are playing El Clasico, the iconic blood feud that goes back millennia between the Dark Elves of Naggaroth and the High Elves of Ulthuan. For my cavalry contingent, I have the Cold One Knights, the savage and ambitious nobles of the Land of Chill, who basically ride dinosaurs into battle. Pretty badass. Next to them are the Black Guards of Naggarond, Malekith the Witch King's personal handpicked retinue, wielding halberds, and of course, the Dread Spears and Bleak Swords as my core troops. One thing you'll notice about the Dark Elves in general, if you don't know much about them, just a little bit angsty and prone to torturing and murdering anything that moves, and that's really apparent in the names of their units. We've got the Darkshard crossbows, provide me a bunch of much needed range firepower, and we even have some sneaky Cold Ones in the woods on my right flank, and a Cold One Chariot as well. So this army is designed to hit hard, hit fast, and hopefully neutralize the enemy skirmish advantage with my mobility, which is never an easy thing against the Azur, because everything they field is really damn good at what it does, from their long-range armor-piercing skirmishers to their powerful shot cavalry to their mainline spears. There are very few factions in Warhammer who can field high-quality and cost-effective troops in every category, and the High Elves definitely can. We have the Sisters of Avelorn, the Handmaidens of Ellyrian the Everqueen, and some of the greatest archers in the Warhammer world, the Phoenix Guard, Silent Guardians of the Shrines of Azurian, equals of Malekith's personal retinue, the Black Guard of Naggarond, Swordmasters of Hoeth, a bunch of High Elf archers who will outrange my Darkshard crossbows, and in the back, we have the Ellyrian Reaver horse archers, giving him some more skirmish power, like he needed that, and the Silver Helms following it up. They are the fastest light cavalry in the game and have a devastating charge. Very good cavalry unit, very cost effective, as with many of the other High Elf units. Just super good, super quick, and very cost effective. And in the back, the arrogant and utterly devastating nobility of Caledor, the Dragon Princes. They're up there with Blood Knights for me, and you should know by now that I'm a huge sucker for heavy cavalry. Cannot wait to see them in action in Total War Warhammer. They're one of my favorite units in this mod, and I'm sure they will be one of my favorite units in Total War Warhammer as well. So I am playing against Stan from Warhammer Weekend Times. He is playing the High Elves, I am playing the Dark Elves, and he is going to start his assault very quickly, which honestly caught me off guard and put me on the back foot, and that's probably what he was counting on. This matchup typically starts with the High Elves forcing the Dark Elves into a rush because they have longer range skirmishers, but Stan, who is very experienced with this mod, by the way, and has an awesome Call of Warhammer channel, is going to run straight at me and tie down my spears so we can use that powerful cavalry to strike at my crossbows, who are going to start reaping a terrible toll amongst those High Elf spears. They're getting completely shredded by the Darkshards right now. Always satisfying to watch that. And I am getting some really good shots into his front line. These High Elf spears, very cheap, very cost-effective troops. They're going to do well in melee combat, but I really wanted to focus on the Swordmasters of Hoeth because they don't have a shield block chance. My Darkshards can completely rip them up, and they cost 2,500 gold, so they are more expensive than a typical High Elf infantry unit. If I can take them off the field early on, that'll be real nice. Get my Dread Spears into shield wall, hopefully be able to tie them down and take the charge. Swordmasters, their charge just got completely blocked, and I think he's getting a little bit flustered at this point in the battle because he wasn't expecting my Darkshards to be doing that much damage. He committed too many of his High Elf spears over on the left flank, and that will allow my Cold One Chariots to just charge in and start ripping holes through his back lines. He has completely forgotten about his archers. Now, I will say not all those archers are dying right now. They are getting disrupted. The Cold One Chariot can kill a decent amount of troops, but it doesn't kill every single one that it throws up into the air. But I am tying down a lot of his archers in the back lines. The Swordmasters of Hoeth have made it into melee combat, and they should be able to beat Dread Spears relatively easily, but this is the engagement I want. I just want to tie down the Swordmasters and keep them in place, bottled up, while my Darkshards can fire in from the flank. My Cold One Knights are getting ready to charge in. I wanted to get those Ellyrian Reavers off the field, but I have no hope of catching them, so I'm going to have to charge into those Silver Helms, and I should be able to win that cavalry engagement, provided that he doesn't get some good flanking shots with the Ellyrian Reavers. We'll see if he's able to do that. but in the back lines, he has his White Lions of Trace getting ready to engage, and the Phoenix Guard as well. A lot of his heavy-hitting elites in the back lines getting ready to attack, and the Cold One Knights and the Silver Helms have engaged. So the Cold Ones are a heavier cavalry unit. They should be able to win that engagement, but Ellyrian Reavers could turn that in their favor if they can get a rear charge off or some shots into the rear of my Raptor Cav. I have another unit of Cold One Knights getting ready to engage, but he does have his Horse Archers in a really good spot to fire in to the flank of my Dread Spears or some of my more important elite infantry units. Cold Ones are going to stop the charge. I think I'm going to lose micro on them for a second here and just completely forget about them, but then I'll notice it relatively quickly, and Stan has done a great job of pulling his Silver Helms out of combat and getting into my squishy targets. Killing those crossbows is going to be really important. If you let them fire all of their ammunition, you're going to have a really bad day. So I'm trying my best to tie down the Silver Helms. They're so fast. Cold Ones are way slower, but I am going to be able to kill a couple of their models at least. Dragon Princes of Caledor made it into combat with my Har Ganeth Executioners, and the Phoenix Guard are also making it in with that Hammer and Anvil from the Silver Helms coming in. That is going to be very scary, and the Dragon Princes are going to get tied down by this unit of Cold Ones, but will continue their charge into the flank of all of these Black Guards of Naggaroth and do a lot of damage there, but that's not really the engagement they want. Halberd units, high armor, armor piercing, and a bonus first large is going to give them some real nice ability to cut through those Dragon Princes, so that's not really the engagement Stan wants to take. Ellyrian Reavers have made it into combat and are ripping through my Cold Ones right now because he got a good flanking charge off, and I am just trying to keep my Darkshards in the back alive and well. These Phoenix Guard, if I can shoot into their rear, will do a crap load of damage to them, and this is absolute pandemonium and bedlam in this battle. So much is happening so quickly, but things are going relatively well so far. I've cleaned up a lot of the units on my left flank, and I've shattered some of his cavalry, but he's gotten his Dragon Princes into my Darkshards and is going to be able to cut a swath of destruction through them. I need to get something in to tie them down, or honestly just shoot them. I have a couple of Darkshards that are not tied down that can fire in, and those armor-piercing bolts will do quite a number on the Princes of Caledor. Phoenix Guard engaging with some of my Dread Spears and Bleak Swords, and the Cold One Chariots just ripping through the back lines on those High Elf Spears. Archers moving up to engage, but they have not made a huge impact on this game so far, and you typically see High Elf Archers just destroy a lot of units before melee is ever joined. I'm going to start getting a nice little surround, and the general for the Dragon Princes and for the High Elves of Ulthuan is going to be struck down. Cold One Knights in the back have free reign to start charging into the back of some of these units, and things are definitely shifting in my favor. Darkshards are firing into the flank of these Phoenix Guard who do not have a shield block chance. This is not how you want a battle to be going. If you are a High Elf player, things have just become an absolute nightmare, and the Dark Elves are definitely starting to get a commanding lead. Cold One Knights charging into a big blob of archers in the back, dropping their lances and throwing them to the ground. The descriptions of what a Noglir does to their prey are not pretty, as you can imagine when a gigantic raptor descends on your head. They can rip you limb from limb, and those Sisters of Avelorn will be having a very, very bad day as those Cold Ones rip them apart. Swordmasters of Hoeth making their stand here with the White Lions of Trace. These are the elite shock infantry for the High Elves. They're doing a lot of damage, but they are surrounded, and the cavalry advantage is completely in the Dark Elves' favor at this point. High Elf archers getting run down and murdered by the arrogant nobility riding those Cold Ones, and things are just an absolute disaster. Things shifted so quickly, and it really started with the Cold One Chariots springing that ambush in the beginning. They were hidden, and they busted out of the woods, got directly into the archers, and nullified the skirmish advantage early on, which is a really big deal against the High Elves. It's really what you need to be doing against them, because if you can't find a way to nullify their skirmish advantage, they're going to rip you apart from range, and it seemed like Stan wasn't able to get that going in this battle. And with the mobility advantage now solely in the Dark Elves' favor, the Cold One Knights will have free reign to do this. Devastating charges into the rear of these powerful High Elf infantry. Do not have a bonus first large, so repeated hammer and anvils will completely shatter them. And actually the Dark Elf general is going to go down, maybe shifting things a little bit more in the High Elves' favor, but Balance Bar so far in the Druchiai's favor. I don't see the High Elves coming back from this one. So that was a quick and brutal and bloody battle. Still got a little bit more to go. And actually, Sisters of Avelorn have a special... I forgot about that. They have a special ammunition type that they share with the Way Watchers. They can actually burn units to a crisp. They fire regular arrows that don't have the slow travel time of flaming arrows, but they are magical arrows that will do a crapload of damage. Just like this Noglair charge, Sisters of Avelorn will be taking that, and that will be the end of their run here. They're going to get cut to pieces and destroyed. But the Sisters of Avelorn are definitely an amazing skirmish unit. Long range, those magical arrows can do a crapload of damage to pretty much any unit you fire into. And as we close the vice on the remaining High Elf troops, they will shatter and begin their retreat. So yeah, like I said, really quick, really brutal battle. Everything just started shattering and running for the hills very quickly. But that's how these kind of battles sometimes go, especially between the Dark Elves and the High Elves. One faction is going to quickly get an advantage and try to push that. It's very rare that these battles between the Elf factions last for very long, because even with the shooting phases, one person is going to be taking so much damage that they have to get into melee and begin their assault. And once that happens, melee combat doesn't last super long in this mod in particular. So you can see the kills here. Was very happy with my Cold One Chariot ambush and my Cold One Knights in general. Hope you guys enjoyed this battle, and I'll see you all next time. Any Pride signing out.